I knew Trump would lose the election over 3.5 years in advance. I knew it was such a big disaster. It is. I knew Joe Biden would defeat Donald Trump in the election. I looked at President's Day. I did July the 4th of 2021. 2021 is 5. 4th of July was on a 16-date numerology. Joe Biden was the 16th Democratic president in the history of our country. This is how I knew Joe Biden would win the election, because I looked at the 4th of July for 2021. Now, January 20th of 2021, 5, this 8 didn't mean that Trump would be president for 8 years. It meant that the Democrats are going to be president for 8 years. Like, Kamala Harris is really bad at what. I mean, many people on the left don't like her because of her criminal justice and because she refused to prosecute Trump, for his Trump University fraud. You know, don't forget that about Kamala. Don't forget about her moment with Joe Biden. I mean, I don't know if Joe Biden and Kamala are very tough. It's like Joe Biden thinks that his governing is going to be better than Kamala Harris. Is that Joe Biden's warning to America, that he's going to have a better presidency than Kamala Harris? He thinks that she is not up to the job. Then why didn't he do anything about that? Anyways, like he's just he's being handled by the DNC. The DNC have more power than Joe Biden. Like, they're able to tell him what to do. It's like Joe Biden is first and foremost telling the donors what he wants to do. It concerns me that he's not raising taxes on the wealthy, and he's going to borrow on credit because July the 4th of 2021 is 32 date numerology, and I knew that we had a liberal president at this time, which is the significance of 59. When you take a look at credit, you take a look at trickle down economics too, is part of this, because Trumponomics, it's got gematria 59. I certainly correctly predicted the big economic disaster under Trumponomics. I mean, no new growth, no over 3%. Wealthy got the money. Bam. We cut taxes, we raised the deficit. When we're supposed to be paying it off, at a peak expansion phase, and this is a big failure, by the way. But the fact is Joe Biden doesn't want to return progressive tax rates to, before Ronald Reagan, when the wealthy were paying 70-80% marginal tax, and that benefited the country and built its freeways and its education. I mean, this is how I knew Joe Biden would win, because Joseph and Crown had the same gematrias. I mean, a lot of people dislike the video, but the fact is it was the truth about Joseph Biden. I think the Joshua angles with Joe Biden is going to be interesting because, LeBron is resurrected, he comes again, and, Jesus is the Son of God, and, the Phoenix Suns are going to win the championship. I mean, LeBron is resurrected again after he loses to the Suns. It's like LeBron represents Jesus the Messiah. I made the video on that. So this July the 4th has a lot of meaning. Now, July the 4th, 2016 of this year, what does that mean for the goats of the game? For LeBron, it means a moment to celebrate and to get rested, to go in and become the greatest out there. That's why the Lakers had 16 championships before he won championship number 17. Joe Biden is president. And Joe Biden's going to see, Messi win the World Cup during his presidency, when the most powerful man they say in the world is the president. Like, obviously, there are some people more powerful, such as the military-industrial complex or the banks. Like, these people operate the planet. They control it, practically. All geopolitical affairs. And this is the significance of July the 4th. 2021, a day that not 70% of Americans have been vaccinated yet. I mean, wow. 70%. Is it really the ignorant out there that are going out and preventing these kind of transformational policies? To make our economy fully operating is what these kind of bigot Trump groups are not doing. That's my biggest problem, is that we don't believe in science and seeking the knowledge, but we seek bigotry and superstition. And we can't do that in America. Of course, you can have critical thinking in the conspiracy, but what's critical thinking is the fact that you and I have been vaccinated for many harmful diseases at birth, like polio and the smallpox vaccine, for example, measles, smallpox. But we don't get that, do we? It's because vaccines do work. Some science is good. That's what, that's what we need more of nowadays. It's more independent thinking. So my predictions are very clear. Kamala Harris is going to do just fine because the population is such a big demographic change. The fact is the system will not collapse until Kamala's presidency. Because what if Biden thinks she's going to fail? And what if that is exactly what happens? It turns out like the end of Obama's tenure, when people were not getting real progressive change, and Republicans revert to fear and demagoguery and the same corporate Democrat game where they refuse to go out and be real progressives for the people. It's like beholden, keeping things just stagnate in the way that they are, instead of being outright bad and stealing all the wealth, which is what the Republican Party does, at their inverted Church of Satan star. And this is what we need to do now, is to find a progressive voice, and if it has to be done outside the Democratic Party, then it should be done outside the Democratic Party. I mean, if Roosevelt ran third party in America, Franklin Delano Roosevelt fought and took on the billionaire class. He was the exact opposite of the wealthy Trumps. It's like we've sacrificed our own greed and lust, as a people, as a group of elite people in this country, over what's collective for our country as a whole. And so there is a lack of patriotic belief to shape into our policy right now in this government bought by the billionaires.